Windsor Castle, and the whole procession will come from the far distance there, right past these throngs of people on either side of this great park. The equerries in uniform there, many of them, and they're chosen to stand either side of the coffin. Equerries who served the Queen either at Balmoral or at Windsor or at Buckingham Palace or at Sandringham indeed, and they stand closest to the coffin, and the bearer party on the either side of them, the bearskins drawn from the Queen's company of the 1st Battalion of the Grenadier Guards. Grenadier Guards who were the closest regiment to the Sovereign, the Queen's company particularly close to her. The Grenadier Guards whose loyalty to the British Sovereign has never been questioned. So they don't, in practice, ever drink a toast to the monarch, because their loyalty is undoubted. A splendid sight now starting to gather, and it will be very similar but slightly more modest, perhaps is a way of putting it, slightly more intense is another way of thinking of it. The Household Cavalry, a division of the Sovereign's escort, pipes and drums, band of the Grenadier Guard, dismounted band of the Household Cavalry. The 1st Division of the Sovereign's escort mounted, and before them the dismounted detachment of the Household Cavalry, the Life Guards. And the Queen's company colour, borne by an officer of the Queen's company of the 1st Battalion of the Grenadier Guards, carried in front of the hearse. It's such a strange sight after seeing those processions in London, to see this procession down a country road in all its solemnity, because this is the country in effect. This is the Queen's coffin coming back to the place that she called home. No crowds here, just walking along this road, this long procession, and then it will turn up and start coming up to the grandeur of the long walk. gun firing every minute, and 5 seconds later, the Sebastopol bell. The heralds have come from the centre of London to take their place in this procession. Absent from this procession at this stage is the royal family. Only when this procession has reached the Long Walk and has turned and has come up to Windsor Castle will the King and the Queen Consort and the other members of the royal family join in as they were in London. Meanwhile, at the west door of St George's Chapel, the stepliners, a dismounted step-lining party found by the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment, is taking up its place, and the clergy of the chapel on the left there. And it's up these steps that the coffin will come when the procession finally reaches this horseshoe cloister at the bottom end of the chapel. The clergy, including, you may have noticed, the Archbishop of Canterbury, come from Westminster Abbey. And the other clergy on the left there of the Chapel Royal, the Dean of the Chapel Royal in Scotland, the Rector of Sandringham will be here, the Minister of Crathy Church, or Crathy Kirk, perhaps I should call it, Reverend Kenneth Mackenzie will be here, chaplain from the Queen's Chapel of the Savoy as well, and the Dean of the Chapels Royal, Sarah Mullally, Bishop of London. This is the Horseshoe Cloister, this red building with black beams, reconstructed by the Victorians, but making a great cloister with its guard of honour here, 3 officers and 110 rank and file from the battalion, 1st Battalion of the Grenadier Guards, who hold this ground in the front of the chapel. Tony Blair, with his Garter insignia, arriving from Westminster, along with other people who've come by coach from Westminster to be here. So when I said that here at St George's it was going to be largely household and people who were friends, perhaps of the Queen and godchildren and the wider family, that's all true. But there's also, because it is still a state funeral, there are also going to be representatives who were at Westminster Abbey and have come down here, particularly the politicians. The Prime Minister will be here. And some of the foreign royals, particularly again the royal families. There's always been a very close link between royal family in Britain and other royal families. For instance, the Queen of Denmark, who now is the last serving woman monarch in Europe with the death of the Queen, she will be here.